The following video is part of my Cloud Computing Networking Under the Hood webinar. To learn more about my webinars, please visit my website. There are a lot of different cloud services out there. So I tried to somewhat illustrate what the different things that people are offering really are. If we assume that more or less everything is a web-based application today, then you have the user interface, which is in the user's browser or his iPad application or whatever it is, so we don't care about that. On the other side, on the server side, there is a web application, which runs on top of a scripting environment, which runs on top of a web server, usually also uses a database. Both the web server and the database use file system that is on some sort of block storage, and both web server and database are running on top of an operating system that needs some CPU, some RAM, some disk access, and some networking access. You can slice things on any one of these arrows, and you get different cloud services. If you put a service between the user and the web application, it's called software as a service. If you give people an environment in which they can develop their scalable web applications, it's usually called platform as a service. Then you have very obvious database as a service and two types of storage as a service. You could either offer file system as a service, which in Amazon terms would be called S3, or you could offer block storage as a service, which yet again in Amazon terms would be called EBS. And the one that's really interesting for us today is infrastructure as a service, which is usually more or less server virtualization plus a lot of things around it. What's the difference between traditional web hosting and platform or infrastructure as a service? Traditional web hosting was pretty static. So you got a web server or you got a virtual web server, and that was it. You got more demand, the web server just fell over. And that's the beauty of something like infrastructure as a service, the Amazon style. It's scalable, it's elastic, it's location independent, it works regardless of where you are, and it works in numerous locations, so you can choose where you want to be. Any cloud service should be really on demand, which means I can consume it when I need it. I don't have to sign a contract and pay in advance for 6 months or so and then get the service in 3 months. It should work on demand, which means that you need a lot of additional components that you don't have in traditional virtualization environments or in web hosting environments. To get more information about my webinars, to register for an online session, or buy a recording or the yearly subscription, please visit my website.